Hey everyone, it's Darth Nihilus here, back to you today with another video, and today I just wanted to take the time to talk about the fact that working out and self-improvement is for normies. And the reason why I say that is because both working out and self-improvement is for normal people. I mean, let's just be honest with ourselves here. Working out and self-improvement, regardless if you're a man or a woman, is for people, normal people to be exact, who still have hope that their lives will change, that their lives will get better and improve if they go the route or path of working out and self-improvement. And I think that shit is lame as fuck. I really do. I mean, both equally working out and self-improvement is so annoyingly overrated. And there's already so many motherfuckers doing that in our society, in our culture. And these are, of course, and obviously, normal people. And even if you're someone who's not a quote-unquote normal person, or a normie, as us awesome, real, based incel men on the internet refer to these people as normies or NPCs or blue-pilled cucks, which is one of my personal favorites. Even if you're someone who is, say, maybe a incel man who takes the time and puts the effort forth to work out or try and even just make the littlest attempts of improving yourself. By doing that, even if you don't realize it, subconsciously, you're doing it because deep down somewhere in your heart and in your soul, you have hope that you yourself and your life will get better, and that it will change, and that you yourself will improve, or that the world around you will improve or get better. It's for people who have hope that either their lives will change and get better, or maybe or perhaps the world, society. But for someone like me, I am 100% hopeless. I have no hope. I'm completely dead inside. And to tell you all the truth, and I know I've said this in previous videos that I have made and uploaded to my new YouTube channel now, I have stated many times over that I have been hopeless, brokenhearted, shattered, torn apart, crushed, and totally and completely dead inside internally for many years of my life. You know, this shouldn't be anything new. This should not come, to any of you as any surprise. Because I have been this way for a long fucking time now. I have been hopeless, brokenhearted, shattered, crushed, torn apart, and dead inside ever since I was like fucking 15 years old. All the way back in 2012, which feels like a lifetime ago because, let's face the facts here, it was. When I was a teenager, or when I was still a teenager, that was a fucking lifetime ago. It has been so many damn years since I've been a teenager. So many. Which is exactly why it feels like it has been a lifetime ago. At least to me anyways. Like, some people will say things like, oh, it just feels like yesterday that I was a little kid, or it feels like just yesterday that I was a teenager. Not for me. It's never felt that way for me. At all. Whether it's my child self or my teenage self, both of which feels like a lifetime ago, because, again, they both were equally. And my childhood, when I was a little kid, was even more of a lifetime ago than when I was a teenager. Because when I was a kid, that was even more long ago than when I was a teenager. And, I have been very black-pilled and negative and dark-minded ever since I was a teenager. I didn't identify as an incel until I was a 20-year-old virgin, starting and beginning on February 12th of 2017, which is the exact month, day, and year that I turned 20 years old, and still, unfortunately, was a virgin. And ever since that age, I have felt extreme incel rage at. My dark thoughts and my dark, twisted mind became like 10 times or 100 times amplified on the month, day, and year that I turned 20 years old and was still a virgin. But even years before I was a 20-year-old virgin, I've had a very extremely dark, twisted mind and super negative mindset ever since I was a teenager. Even before I ever knew anything about like the incel philosophy or belief systems or the black-pilled ideology, philosophy or belief systems. Like, I didn't know either of those two words when I was a teenager. And all throughout my teens, like from 13 to 19, or in this case from 15 to 19, because 15 is when I would say I first really started suffering at like the age in which that I really started just going through hell emotionally. And from 15 to the age of 19, I didn't identify with the black-pilled philosophy or the incel philosophy or whatever, because I didn't know that either of those things were a thing. I didn't know the definitions of them. I didn't know what incels were or what it meant to be an incel, or I didn't know about the black-pilled philosophy or the definition of a black-pilled person and what exactly it means to being black-pilled. But looking back and just seeing the very dark and negative way that I was ever since I was a teenager, I definitely was and could have been considered or labeled a black-pilled person, at least, even years before I ever identified as an incel. Even though there are other teenagers out there, like other teenage guys who, even when they're still a teenager, already are identifying as incels. Whereas I myself personally did not identify as an incel myself until I was 20 years old in the year 2017. And that's literally why I started my YouTube channel, my old original one that sadly got terminated by this bitch-ass faggot, really cucked, delicate, sensitive, fragile, woke, super hardcore leftist platform of YouTube. If I would have never been an incel, if I would have never been a virgin at the age of 20 and would have lost my virginity at the age of 19 in 2016, or 18 in 2015, or 17 in 2014, or 16 in 2013, or 15 in 2012, then obviously I would have had not that much of a desire to be a YouTuber. And even if I did pursue being a YouTuber, I would have most likely made normie content that normal people would have loved and enjoyed and have been fond of themselves. I would have been a normal person. I would have been pretty damn happy and positive and would have wanted to actually try in life and have drive and ambition and self-esteem and confidence and I would have been proud of myself, and I would have been looking forward to doing big, great things in my life, like in my future too. Like back when I was a teenager, if I would have lost my virginity during the time I was still a teenager, and not to, of course, a fucking stripper or prostitute or some hoe that I would have had to pay money for, but a real girlfriend that I would have gotten if I would have been lucky enough of being able to have a girlfriend as a teenager, which obviously I wasn't. And when it comes to someone like me, I just wanted one fucking girlfriend. That's it. That's all I wanted as a teenager. I didn't want to be a man whore. I had no desire or craving to be a player, even despite the fact that I had crushes on many girls when I was in high school, even for the very short period of time that I was in high school. I had a crush on several girls, like more than one. And the only reason I was like that is because if I would have been confident, hypothetically or theoretically speaking, and had self-esteem and could have made the first move, and if that shit would not have been hard or difficult for me whatsoever and would have been just a total piece of cake, then if one of them would have rejected me, I just could have gone on to the next one, meaning like making the first move or asking each one of the girls that I would have had a crush on out to see which one would have agreed to go out with me. But the other problem was that some of the girls that I had a crush on already had boyfriends, which devastated me. But it also didn't surprise me, because when it came to the girls that I had a huge major crush on, or should I say crushes, since I had crushes on multiple different girls way back when I was a teenager in high school, a lifetime ago, they were really fucking hot. They were super attractive and good looking, and because they were, I was shy and introverted of them, or around them. And I was intimidated by them, uncomfortable and nervous and stressed out around them. Like, it was very unpleasant being in the physical presence of any of these girls that I had a crush on in high school. But if I would have been able to have a girlfriend in high school and would have lost my virginity as a teenager, and I don't mean like, oh, before marriage, like, I strongly believe in saving yourself for marriage, because I at least have some traditional things about myself. You know, obviously I'm not like 100% traditional. That much is clear. But there are some things about me that are traditional. Like, I do at least have some traditional beliefs, some traditional ideologies and philosophies and opinions, and certain like conservative or Republican belief systems, like when it comes to like political shit. But again, I'm obviously not like 100% traditional or 100% conservative or 100% Republican. You know, obviously I'm not, and that is a 100% fact. But the thing about me is that I still desperately wanted to lose my virginity when I was a teenager. And so what I would have tried to do, if I would have been a different guy and just totally and completely the opposite of who I truly am deep down inside, I would have tried to, you know, do all these things in my life really early on as a teenager, like getting a job, making money, buying my own car, getting an apartment, all that shit. And then I would have tried to marry a girl that I would have had a crush on in high school when we would have been around 17, 18 or whatever years old, so that I could have still been able to have sex with her after I would have gotten married to whichever girl I would have married. And this is, of course, just all hypothetical or theoretical scenario here. This is not like a real life scenario, since that did not happen. And, you know, again, this is just kind of all pure fantasy. But if this would have happened, then I would have tried losing my virginity after getting married, hopefully around either age 17, 18, or 19 by the latest, something like that. And obviously, and of course, would have wanted to have kids of my own, and hopefully at the latest by my early 20s. I mean, that would have been like an ideal age for me to have wanted to have kids at, or maybe even younger than then, if I would have been able to. If I would have been lucky enough of being able to have kids around 17, 18, 19 years old even, I would have preferred that. But even if I didn't have kids into my early 20s, that would have been fine with me. But I didn't. That did not happen for me. I wasn't lucky, blessed, privileged, or fortunate enough of being able to have that kind of life. And I know I'm getting pretty off topic here, but when it comes to like working out and self-improvement, you know, most of the people who do that, I feel, at least personally, are people who have experienced and had their, you know, fill of sexual intimacy or encounters or experience even since they were teenagers back in like fucking high school. And so by the time they're in their 20s or whatever, they're more like chill and cooled down and don't have such raging hormones anymore, and they're not so like fixated and addicted and just always craving sexual intercourse, because they again had their fill of sexual intercourse way back when they were teenagers. So by the time they're in their 20s, you know, if they have it, fine, cool, whatever. But if they don't have it, it's not the end of the fucking world. Whereas for someone like me, who's still an incel, now in my late 20s, and even being an incel in my early 20s was fucking hell on earth, to say the least. And, being 20 years old and still a virgin is just pure torment and torture emotionally. At least if you're a man, that is. The interesting and fascinating thing about women who are still virgins when they're 20, 21, 22, and so on and so forth, their whole world does not feel like it's crashing in down around them. It doesn't feel like their whole life is just caving in and that this whole fucking world is ending. Whereas for a man who's still a virgin in his early 20s, that's exactly how it feels. And, same could be said when it comes to the loneliness that a man experiences compared to the loneliness a woman experiences. Obviously, women and men both experience loneliness, but women do not and never have experienced loneliness on the very extreme, severe, intense level that men do. And one way that I can even prove that is the fact that throughout history, men have been 4 times more likely to die by suicide than compared to women. If women did experience loneliness on the same extreme, severe, intense level that mankind do, then by all means, women would have been offing themselves at a crazy, insane high rate and percentage like men do, and have been doing since like the dawn of fucking human existence. I mean, seriously, like, men have been killing themselves at a very high rate and percentage ever since the beginning of this fucking world. And they have just been offing themselves at a alarming high number. And like studies and research and statistics have shown many times over, men are 4 times more likely to die by suicide than women are. And that right there tells you that men compared to women have a much harder, difficult, hell on earth life than compared to women. But again, like, women do experience loneliness. I'm not denying the fact that women don't experience loneliness, because I know they do. I'm not stupid. But the point I'm trying to make here is that the loneliness that women feel or experience compared to the loneliness men feel and experience is pathetic. It's pitiful. Because it's not as bad. It's not as extreme and severe and intense, so much to the point they want to fucking off themselves and kill themselves. But that's the way it is and has been for men throughout history. And, you know, I would even say when it comes to like who suffers more emotionally, when it comes to the two genders, men and women, men suffer way more emotionally than women do. Because I'm sure that the reasons why men kill themselves at an alarming high rate and have been doing so since the dawn of human existence isn't just because there's way more men who are virgins or incels, in other words, than compared to women virgins or femcells. And according to studies, research, statistics, or whatever, throughout history, only 1 in 3 men got to reproduce historically. That's not that much. 1 in 3 men. That's very low. So 2 out of those 3 men don't get to. They don't get to reproduce. They don't get to have sex or any kind of sexual intercourse or intimacy or affection or experiences from women at all whatsoever. And they don't get to ever have any children, even if they really wanted to. And that's something women will never be able to understand or comprehend. You know, it's extremely frustrating and irritating that women will never be able to understand or comprehend men's loneliness, or the loneliness that men always, constantly experience and feel on such an extreme, severe, intense, high level. Women will never have any idea what it feels like to be a man and to live in this world and to go throughout life and to feel the emotions that men do and have to deal with, even starting from a really young age, usually and typically around the time that they're teenagers. You know, I didn't feel any of these things when I was a little kid, not at all. But starting from when I was 15 years old in 2012, I started feeling these things majorly on a very high level, on a very extreme, severe, intense level. And, you know, I just think it's so silly and pathetic that so many men and women work out or believe in this, just, in my personal opinion, false bullshit, pure fantasy narrative of working out and self-improvement. I just think that's unbelievable. And again, like I said earlier in this video, I think it's overrated. It's overrated, annoyingly overrated. And the reason I say that is because most men and women do that shit. And it's dumb. It's fucking gay. It's fucking gay how overrated it is. I mean, it's ridiculous. And I also feel like there's way too much of a expectation, or way too much pressure put on both men and women to either work out or improve certain things about themselves. Like, there's just there's way too much of a I don't know, like, there's just way too much pressure, way too much expectation. It's fucking retarded. And I hate it. I fucking hate it. But again, I mean, I guess if you're a man or a woman who has hope and faith that your life is going to get better if you work out and if you improve things about yourself, improve things about your life, then by all means, do it. Be my guest. But I myself have no desire, longing, or yearning to ever want to work out or improve any damn thing about myself, about my life. Because I am fine with the way I am. And I have been for years. I have fully accepted and embraced who and what I am as a man and as a human being. Because I have been this way for so many years. This is truly who I am to the core, deep down inside. And again, I have fully 100% accepted and embraced everything about myself. Even the weird things, even the bad things, even the dark negative things or whatever. Because it's a part of who I am. It defines me as a person, as a man. But also, like, the main reason why I do not want to work out and never did and never had that longing, yearning, or craving or extreme desire to want to work out or ever partake in that overrated bullshit, overrated, excessive, annoying bullshit, is because I have no hope for myself, for my life to ever change and get better. I have no longing, yearning, desire, or craving to do any self-improvement on myself whatsoever, because I don't see any actual reason or purpose in doing so. Because I had a shitty-ass hell on earth life in existence. I am permanently damaged, if anything. Like, the thing about me, like, I never had a girlfriend when I was a teenager, which is by far the worst thing that I've ever experienced, even way more so than, oh, I didn't have gaming consoles and video games of my own growing up as a kid. Oh, boo-hoo. Compared to not having a girlfriend as a teenager, that is much worse than not having or experiencing any of the materialistic things I wanted, longed for, wished for, yearned for, craved ever since I was a teenager. That broke me to the core. That crushed me. That devastated me. That tore me apart on the inside. That just damaged me and crushed me. And made me become so hopeless and full of despair in the long run. But not having a girlfriend as a teenager, not having someone to share my life with, and not having someone to be like a best friend to, and vice versa. Not having someone to do anything with or go anywhere with or have someone so I could have had the desire, or should I say purpose or reason, to actually want to improve myself. Like, if I would have had a girlfriend since I was a teenager that maybe and hopefully I would have eventually married and had kids with, I would have actually wanted to improve myself and would have wanted to better myself. I would have actually wanted to work out and do big, great things with my life and go places and do things and, you know, I would have actually had ambition and drive and self-esteem and confidence, and I would have felt like I had a purpose and meaning in my life, and being on this world, I would have wanted to contribute to our society, and I would have wanted to maybe, just maybe, invented something that would have benefited humanity. And that's only a maybe, because I'm not that smart, wise, or intelligent, or gifted, or talented, or skilled at anything, really. I mean, even since I was a little kid, a teenager, but maybe if I would have had a girlfriend since I was a teenager, maybe I would have miraculously been given a gift or a talent or a skill that I could have used to my advantage and became successful off of that. Maybe. But then again, that's only if I would have had a girlfriend. And I can also only assume that my life would have been better if I would have had a girlfriend since I was a teenager. But I honestly don't really know. I can't say for sure because I don't know, because it didn't happen. So I'm just simply making guesses and assumptions here. But at least I know one thing's for certain. If I would have had a girlfriend since I was a teenager, my life definitely would have been better than what my life has been in reality ever since I was a teenager. I would have been much happier in the long run. I wouldn't have been as dark-minded and negative and twisted, and I wouldn't have been as broken or crushed or damaged or hopeless and full of despair and depressed and all that shit. Like, I wouldn't have had so much unbearable trauma if I would have had a girlfriend since I was a teenager. And also, the thing I wanted to say in this video is that, why should I work out or improve anything about myself when Chad or Tyrone doesn't have to do jack shit? Like, they don't have to do a damn thing about themselves, or they don't have to change or improve anything about themselves and anything about their lives whatsoever. And they get so many bitches. They get so many whores, sluts, skanks, thoughts, hoes. They get all the fucking girls and all the fucking women that their hearts desire, that they want, that they crave, that they wish to have, that they long for and yearn for. They get it so easily, like a piece of cake. And it's just aggravating for someone like me. It's just so very irritating and frustrating. And it just triggers me. It makes my blood boil. And yet, nobody understands how I feel about that. Well, nobody except black-pilled incel men, which I am grateful of the fact that I even have anyone who does get me, who does understand me. And I am very thankful of that. I'm grateful, and I am very highly appreciative of that. I mean, that's literally one of the main reasons why I keep doing these videos and why I made a new YouTube channel here, because I'm making these videos and making this content for people who actually do understand me and get me and feel me and relate to me and connect with me and who have a lot in common with me and who are similar to me. I'm doing these videos and making this content for specifically them. Not you retarded, ridiculous, shitty-ass, pathetic, pitiful normies who are just literally copies and pastes of each other. Like, there's nothing different or unique or original or set apart about any of you NPCs. When it comes to you normal people out there in the world, out there in society, you're just all basically the fucking same. It's kind of funny and also sad. Whereas when it comes to us incel men, us black pillars, we're the real human race. We're the based human race. We're authentic. We're original. We're unique. We're fascinating and interesting. And it's funny because when it comes to even normies, such as yourselves, you blue-pilled cucks, you NPCs, even you find us incels interesting and fascinating. Because if you didn't, you would never bother watching our videos or content. You would never be so focused and fixated and addicted and obsessed with us. So much to the point you're always watching what we do and listening to what we say and just commenting on our shit and sharing our shit with all your normie friends. Like, at least there is clearly a part of you normies, you blue-pilled cucks, you NPCs, who are interested and fascinated with us black pillars, with us incels, with us failures at society, at us failures at life, us losers, us broken and downtrodden people. So, yeah, like, and I guess the reason why even normal people find people like us interesting and fascinating is because we're the black sheeps of society, of this world. We're the failures and losers and lowlifes. We have no purpose or meaning in our lives or to keep going on living. We do not contribute or benefit anything to our world or our society or anything like that. We're set apart. We're distant. We're different and unique and original. We're not like the rest of the crowd. We don't have any involvement, or at least not that much involvement in our society and in our world. And it's also funny because us incels get a lot of mainstream attention. A lot. A shit ton, if anything. We're infamous. We're marginalized. But, I honestly pity, incel men or black-pilled men or guys who are losers and maybe still don't get girls even if they work out and get ripped and get muscular, because there will still always be things that, incel guys and black-pilled guys who are truly ugly or average looking even cannot change about themselves. Like their face, their height. I mean, even if they can change their face, they can't change their height unless they break their legs and install like poles in their legs to make themselves taller, which is so messed up and just tragic. I mean, men are trying so very hard and putting so much damn effort forth to try to get with women, which is just the saddest sight to see. It is truly heartbreaking and tragic. And yet women still don't even really credit these men who are taking such extreme measures to try to get with these wretched ass girls or women of today in modern times, which are so full of themselves, self-centered, self-absorbed, narcissistic, self-righteous, self-entitled, who are just rotten whores, who are just so spoiled and so privileged and have way too much money, more than they need or deserve, if anything. And most women nowadays are just hoes, bitches, sluts, skanks, thoughts, all that. You know, they're not worth any effort. They're not worth improving for at all. And they certainly do not deserve the kind of men that they themselves want, that to themselves would be the ideal boyfriend or perfect husband or whatever. Because these women have nothing to offer. And I'm not saying like us men are perfect ourselves, but when it comes to which gender, at least in my opinion, has much more to improve or much more flaws and problems and issues, it's definitely women, without a doubt. But of course, there's going to be a bunch of white knights and simps and whatever who are going to disagree with me, and that's fine. I don't care. Because you can stay mad all you want, but it won't change, the facts. And what I say is true. I'm not perfect myself, and I know I'm not. I'm not trying to say or act like I'm perfect. I am far from perfect. But I also don't really have that much of a longing, yearning desire or whatever to be perfect. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, nobody is perfect. But anyways, let me know what you all think in the comment section down below. I'm out.